you want me to repost it, or like my understanding was that we both sign it and then it gets adopted and like the wording gets changed.
Let me double check that. I may have missed that. If that's the case, hold on.
It's either in the judicial review, or sorry, it's in the proposal document that at the time of when it gets adapted and the signatures, like in this case, because he's post signing it, because I just caught him, that the Los Santos County would turn into like San Andreas.
Let me just double check. Because there is the bit about, like, whole statewide thing. I'll just try to find if it says that.
Legislative approval and process. Yeah. And by the way, it's scuffed, by the way, if you don't know this.
What is?
Legislative proposal and approval process. The old one still shows up and not the new one.
Oh, you mean there's two of them?
Yes.
Okay, I can remove that.
Yeah.
The old one. Oh, yeah, see it, 972. Okay, let me just remove that real quick.
Yeah.
There we go. Should be removed now.
All right, easy. So it says, I mean, I can repost it with the San Andreas in there, but just for make sure.
If you just put like a thing under saying
it'll be developed into. Like, yeah, I got the line right here.
Yeah.
The two counties have two identical legislations approved, it'll be developed into state law per the San Andreas state constitution. But I'll just like repost it with the.
You could just say under it like since Mumbles has co-signed it, we wish to add wherever it says Los Santos County to just say San Andreas.
All right, I can take. All right, easy. I also want to have a chat with all the justices in regards to this penal code stuff. I don't know what's been communicated to you, but the TLDR is I'm not very happy.
You're well.
But, well, my concern is what you were made aware of. And I want to make sure the telephone.
I was made aware of you yelling down a phone to Arcadia. I didn't made aware that you. Well, so she's lying to me then?
People like to interpret things in the way they see it, right?
Okay.
So did I raise my voice after getting cut off multiple times? Yes. Is that yelling? No. I was definitely not yelling. And I have 5 witnesses who stood there while I was in ICU. She said I was yelling?
I mean, raising your voice at least.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Which you just said you did.
Well, I mean, even if I did, I don't really see the relevancy in it.
Also telling her she's not doing her job, which is...
That's not the case.
Not the case that you said it, or not?
That's not the case. Yeah.
Okay. So she's lying again? Is that it?
I think she was very heated off the get-go. So what she interpreted that conversation, it wasn't really much of a conversation. I mean, I was continuously cut off. So I don't think my position is actually understood by the justices yet, because I haven't actually had a chance to give one.
Well, if you'd have showed up to the meeting, we maybe could have gotten that.
I was in the hospital.
Not for the first half an hour of it.
Okay. Well, where is your concern in all this?
Concern about what?
Well, I don't know. Like, I feel like your energy right now, you want to have an argument.
No, I'm just, we had the opportunity for a talk, and
okay,
you will.
So I'll tell you exactly what it was, if you want to know.
Okay.
The problem is as follows. We spent about 3 weeks working on a document for the proposal process. We've had a conversation with the governor, very much laid out what our system is supposed to look like and what the flow of it is. And I think that went very well, even though it was very tardy. During the latest judicial document review, we had many conversations in which we were guaranteed that the wording of the ability for the DOJ to change the penal code was so that you would have the ability, if there was case law that came in, if there was an investigation, if new legislation came forth, that those alterations could be made. Everyone was in agreement with that. Everything was fine. In fact, this past Sunday, not about like 8 days ago now, we were given a list of all the penal code changes, and we were told that the fine and time was going to be changed. That's all that was told to us. And then a couple days go by, and we've got all these new charges that illegalize with any due process, with no like review of any sort, just magically making things illegal. Now,
it wasn't
fundamentally,
magical. We did review stuff, so
yeah, but you is just the DOJ, right? Well, and if I can continue, so we're presented with one set of changes, and a different set of changes come in, which includes codifying the illegality of items without any due process, with any case law, without any legislative backing, etc., etc. So understandably, we're going to be pissed because we represent the people, and to us, it just looks like the entire system is being circumvented in order to kind of jam in laws based on the opinions of the few. So now, just as you may have your opinion, we have ours, and I was, I was pretty tilted about that, and I wasn't the only one. That includes a lot of citizens around Los Santos. Now, this is what I was trying to explain over the phone, but I wasn't able to. So the ending of that phone call was, thank you for the slap in the face. The reality is that the people of Los Santos, in my opinion, were slapped across the face. So,
and we spoke with them, got their feedback, and adjusted the next day.
That in and of itself highlights the problem with what your actions did, because the penal code was altered without any review. I mean,
no, it was reviewed.
By who?
Respectfully, by the DOJ.
Yeah, and that's the issue. Where? Let me ask you something, Faulkner. You're a judge, right?
A justice.
A justice. Where do you come to the evaluation as to whether something should or should not be illegal? What democracy in the United States functions like that?
I mean, are you saying there wasn't a vote on it? I don't really know much about US law, to be fair, so...
Well, where are you from?
Scotland.
Scotland. In Scotland, do justices just illegalize things off a whim? Or
Not
a vote?
off a whim, no.
No. Through due process, through case law, and through legislators. Right?
Mostly, yeah.
Yeah. They don't get a phone call by a random officer saying something's illegal, and it just happens. And my point here is,
not what happened with us either.
Okay, so how did the G6 cards become illegal? Give me an example. Like, help me understand this.
So the Group 6 data chips were told to us through multiple instances of jewelry store robberies into bank truck robberies that these are related to the the locating of the bank truck.
Okay.
And there has been no other purpose being able to be gleaned from them.
So you were given investigative reports in regards to this, detailing out why these are illegal?
Investigative reports, and then also seen them in like bench trials and stuff.
So why didn't you guys just put out legislation around it?
Because, I mean, like, for example, we already criminalized the possession of other G6 stuff without legislation behind it anyway.
But you mean like the other things in the contraband one that you just put forward? You're talking about that?
No, stuff like Group 6 cash pallets, Group 6 rolled cash, Group 6 cash bags. They've been illegal for longer than any of us have been in power.
You are 100% correct. Those things were put into place when the first series of legislation went forward. And maybe this is because there's certain conversations that were missed, but there were charges that were adapted when there was charges that were put into the penal code when this new constitution was adapted in. There was no additional penal code charges that were added without any legislative backing.
Well, but there was, though.
Okay, for example?
Robbery of a low security institution.
Okay. Well, I'm talking specifically around contraband.
Okay, sure. Yeah, okay. Just specifically contraband, then yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So, and this is kind of the point here. This is, do you recognize? Can you understand that? What I'm trying to convey here is that we have a system put in place to allow for our state to be democratic, right?
Right.
And if there are penal code changes just being put up because the justices believe something should or should not be illegal, where is the line between who's to say you're not going to make marriage illegal, as an example?
Well, that would require an amendment to legislation at that point, because there is marriage legislation.
Making it illegal to wear purple hats. There you go.
That may be unconstitutional. I need to double check the exact words of the things, but
you have to check whether wearing a purple hat is unconstitutional.
Well, like, because I mean, we have certain laws that mean you can't wear certain things, like
and that's why it goes to the constitutionality check and review.
Right.
But in the very same vein, and I'm glad you said that, is if you pull up the Constitution, right?
Mm-hmm.
Give me a second. This thing's scuffed.
You're referencing right to property?
Correct.
Sure. The provided it does not infringe on others and their rights. That's important, which is, why certain things were deemed illegal.
It's
because
liberty.
Of it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, everything that is in your property is illegal in all legal in all Western nations, except for if those things are determined to be actual contraband. But that requires like actual backing, right?
Right.
And that's not what took place.
Is your issue that the backing wasn't public facing? Is that the issue?
It did not go through the legislative process. That's the issue. So,
because it didn't need to, because it was a penal code change.
But see, this is going back. You forgot the beginning part of this conversation, is that we were guaranteed that it would not be abused this way, and that if there needed to be changes, it would be put through legislation.
I disagree that it's abuse, but
it is, of course, it's abuse for anyone that believes in democracy. Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, you might not find
that's how you see it.
Yeah. Like, I mean, listen, if you were living in Scotland and all of a sudden certain things just magically became illegal without any due process, without your legislators being involved, without your representatives being involved, would you not feel like it was abusive? I mean, consider for a moment, right? You've taken post facto feedback to finally realize that some of the items that were deemed contraband were legal items obtainable by law-abiding citizens that run G6, right? And that in and of itself should be evidence for you guys to say, hey, wait a minute, we should have actually posted something up so people could, around the city, the Los Santos County Mayor, the Blaine County Mayor, the entire public could read it and provide their feedback through the system that was put in place.
Sure, I can agree on the G6 stuff, yeah. That probably, yeah, we could have done that better.
Yeah, but so, why, so what, like, where is, so, like, why just start throwing in random penal code charges to begin with instead of using the system we got in place?
Partly because, I mean, that is our job as the DOJ to determine the laws and enact them as such.
Well, the job is defined not like that in the Constitution. I want to actually point something out. Have you seen the letter from the state officials? Has Weiss shared that with you?
Which one?
The first one.
Like from months ago?
Correct. The one that defines exactly it. Yeah.
I've seen it, but I'd need to look at it again to refresh the exact language.
Give me 1 second. I'll send you a copy of it. But
Sure thing.
What I'd like to understand, like, when did it become, in your opinion, from what it sounds like, you believe that it is job the DOJ to determine what is and is not illegal?
I mean, it's not the job of only the DOJ. You and Mumbles can also do that. You can make things legal or illegal in your counties.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's the problem here, Faulkner, is like, if you read that letter, and I'm going to send it to you, it makes it very clear that penal code changes the way that they were put in is not constitutional. And my concern here is there's one of two ways we can do this. One is we can come to a common understanding of what the expectations of each of the legislative branches are, or alternatively, we have to go fucking rebastardize that line that we collectively reviewed and agreed would not be used in the fashion it was these past couple days. And I'm trying to, the reason I'm having this conversation with you is I'm trying to understand, like, what is the logic being used to determine this being a part of your role is, and I'm not asking that facetiously. I'm like genuinely trying to understand this.
Sure. It would be the hold on, let me find it. They are also responsible for preserving the integrity and safety of the state, constitution, citizens' rights, and the laws of the state. Laws of the state being the penal code and legislation.
Sorry, you said that fast. Were you quoting the Constitution?
Yep.
Okay, so what in there determines what the penal code?
The preserving the integrity and safety of the laws of the state.
Okay. The DOJ shall have the legislative authority over all legal and judicial matters within San Andreas. It will ensure the enforcement of laws, uphold justice, and protect the rights of citizens. Precedents set by justices will act as common law. So what part of that are you quoting? It gives you the authority to change the penal code?
Wasn't quoting any of that part.
Which part are you quoting?
The last sentence.
They're responsible for preserving the integrity and safety of the state, the Constitution. Okay. Which adjective are you pointing at, or what verb?
Preserving the integrity and safety of the state, the Constitution, citizens' rights, and laws of the state.
Okay.
Preserving the integrity of the laws of the state.
Okay. You're saying this line gives you the ability to alter the penal code?
Well, no, that's specifically the bit that does it is the line that says we can change the penal code at will.
Where?
In judicial pills.
Oh, okay. So you're not quoting the Constitution.
No, but that's based on the Constitution.
That line, okay. But see, now I'm glad we're back on that. That particular line, you saw our edits in there. You saw the commentary?
Seen some of it. I don't know.
Okay.
Some were gone by the time I looked at it, so I don't know what I did and didn't see.
Are you aware of the conversation we had the Sunday prior to that, where that charges wouldn't just get randomly added in and would happen through legislation?
Don't believe I'm aware of that, no.
Yeah. We were told very concretely, and this is from Arcadia, Nino, we're not like the old DOJ. We're not going to do we're not going to abuse this, and we don't have to be so pedantic. And then it happened. So hence why I'm pissed. And I'm not the only one that's pissed. Because we were given guarantees. Right? Do you at least understand the perspective, regardless of whether you agree with it or not?
If that's the reality, I can understand it. I don't know if that's it because I wasn't.
Lady, thank you for 60 months. Okay. Hi. Well, now you got kind of understand it. Well, here's what I want to do. I'd like to have a chat with all the justices. I'd like us to understand, at least come to an understanding of if there's a way we can move forward on this, because I hope that with the recent updates to the penal code that were made, where the contraband charge was changed, is at least sets an example of why things cannot be done at whim. And that's the conversation I would like to have. Is there a better way? Can we alter the document together in a way that makes sense and is backed by the Constitution? Or alternatively, does this need to turn into a challenge? Which I rather avoid the second, which I'm sure we all do.
Okay. I suppose, is the contraband thing the only issue you had with the new charges? Was there any other new charges that you had an issue with?
Well, the problem is that I'm in disagreement with the philosophy now, because this has now opened the door that at a whim, I'm going to call it at a whim because there is no public information or whatever, is that new effective legislation can be put in place by the DOJ without a court case, without case law, without legislation, because a subset of people in our society decided to be the case.
Sure. So you would want us to have, a court case about people selling class 2s, a court case about people selling class 3s, a court case about people using EMP launchers, a court case about people having classified documents.
Most of those things, like, listen, Falcon, I know you're trying to be cheeky here, but those examples don't work, because most of those penal code charges you just listed off were already adapted into our penal code when the Constitution was put in place, just as some pieces of legislation were put into place.
Well, the thing is, it wasn't illegal to sell a class 2 before Saturday.
Oh, you're saying sell a class 2. I got you.
Yeah, criminal transaction of a class 2 didn't exist. Criminal transaction of class 3 didn't exist.
No, I think in those examples, as I honestly, as a justice, you should be well aware of, is that you update the weapons legislation, which is the most easiest route. We have weapon legislation. You update it to say you cannot sell these things. And then you have the accompanying penal code, right? That's how it works across all Western nations. That's what our system was designed for, right? Is that criminal transactions, like those things don't exist. Easy. You update the legislation. It's like 2 lines you add to the legislation and you post it up.
Okay. I mean,
is that fair?
We're trying. Yeah, I just don't think that the way we went about it wasn't fair in regards to those charges.
How could you say? But there's 2 problems here, Faulkner, and this is where I'm like having a very tough time understanding your position, and I truly want to understand the position. Is number 1, it was because you found out within 48 hours that some of those things that you had marked as contraband were not actually contraband, right? Because there was no public scrutiny by any legislator and the public. And therefore, by using this methodology, you're opening yourself up for that issue to be reoccurring. Tomorrow, you might make, I don't know, something else illegal, and it turns out you can legally obtain it, right? The second is that this can of worms means that fuck all legislation. You just make whatever state, legislation or state penal code charge you want anytime you want. Now, what is concerning to me, there's 6 of you, right? And what?
Hollow stepped in.
Hollow step. I was told he was fired.
We told him step down or we'll impeach you for dereliction. He chose to step down.
Okay, gotcha. What the fuck? There's 5 of you. And we had a very straightforward conversation with Weiss, and Arcadia was in the room too. That the only time things would get added to the penal code in the way that they were done was in the case of emergencies. And he used an example. And that example was like, if like, I don't know, like a fucking like fighter jet enters in and they got to add like it's illegal to fly a helicopter, like a fucking fighter jet. I forgot the precise example he used, but that's the one he used. So where a lot of this like anger comes from is some of us have really good fucking memory, right? And, you know, we're told one thing and then something else happens, hence the feeling of abuse, right? So, I don't know. Either way, I think we can have a bigger meeting in regards to this.
Yeah, we can.
And make it clear. If you guys have the position that you want to, at will, just be able to put things up there without any due process, without any case law, without any legislative backing, and if that's the position you're going to hold, then, you know, obviously we have to go through the whole fucking shindig. But I do recommend you look at that SAG letter because it makes it very clear. The only reason we haven't challenged the penal code is because we want to make things easy without it being overly complicated. We just don't want shit coming into place without the democratic voice.
Sure. Have you seen the
This ain't Russia. You feel me?
Sure. Have you seen the amendment we proposed to FOIA?
I did. That was good.
Okay.
That was good.
I think there's something else. I'm trying to think. Oh, no. This is
I just hope that without this whole thing, Faulkner, look, I can understand that at times it can seem like I'm your enemy, right? And I want to just say fuck the DOJ. That's not the case. And I know that y'all didn't necessarily appreciate the state announcement, but I hope you recognize too that I got to do my job too. And that means letting my people know that I'm looking after them. It may not, you know what I'm saying? So,
I can see, I can understand your position, but probably don't agree with the way you went about it.
I had to put something out. It could not wait. You know? And so, because my citizens come before anybody else.
Yeah, that's, you know, I would expect nothing less from
I'm elected at the end of the day. Yeah. So, all right. Anyways, let me know whenever you guys want to set up that meeting.
Yeah. We'll try and see, because Weiss is on like a semi-LOA, or like I don't know what he's actually doing, but he's like spotty, and then Arcadia's got some work on Liberty City that she's doing as well. Like day on, day off type stuff. So
yeah. All right.
We'll see.
Okay. Is there any other penal code changes that are going to kind of, you know, planned anytime soon?
Let me double check. I don't think there is, but I'll just double check. Oh, there is one. It's limiting the areas in which FAFO applies, so that people aren't getting FAFO for like knocking out a security guard while roof runner on top of an OPD.
Can you run it back?
So you know the FAFO charge, where if you do a violent felony on like government property?
No.
The federal authority felony offenses. It's been here since before like the Constitution changed.
Oh,
like right
what
now
the
it says,
fuck?
Like,
okay.
It says like this shall include, but is not limited to. And we realize that the, you know, that could be used in places where it's not intended to.
You could literally just use it anywhere and then bring it to court. Yep.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So we just want to limit it to the places that are actually listed, because like
why'd you get
those
off?
are the places we don't want people fucking around in.
God damn it. Okay.
And there might be a change to the impersonation of a government employee, but that's very, like, there was a bench trial for that like 12 hours ago or something, so that's still fresh.
I want to make my position very clear here. So you are at least going to recognize I'm not trying to put you guys, make your life even more difficult. Is that changes like that, I'm always going to back. Because what you're doing is you're altering something to make it make more sense behind the intent of the charge, right? Yeah. Which I see to be distinctly different from new charges and new contraband. You get what I'm saying? That's
Sure.
where the contention is.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
all right.
But yeah, the other thing about impersonating a government employee is that there is no actual exclusion for government employees in it, and that's dumb.
Yeah.
It says any person who willfully wears the authorized uniform of a government employee. So technically, all cops are committing a felony right now.
Mm.
And that was from a bench trial last night with Marlowe, while he was wearing an FIB jacket.
Right. Okay, that makes sense. Okay.
But yeah, I still need to write up the change to that. Probably just an exclusion at the end or something. We'll see.
Makes sense.
But that's the only two changes on the table right now.
All right. Okay, easy. All right. If you could, so how do, yeah, let them know. I'd like to set it up. I think it's important that I readdress my concerns and kind of put out my proposals on what I would like to see change. I don't expect you guys necessarily agree to it, but you know, I think it's important that our proper positions are put on the table, and then we go from there.
Sure. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Easy. All right, Faulkner. You take care.
Chat to you later then.
Bye. Fuck, my food arrived 30 minutes ago. It's probably cold as shit. Give me a sec.